Give them a shot to do what?
All right, fun pod today. I got Stacey Williams, Barry Jackson, the Executives View podcast in with me, filling in for Bert. And we're going to do a little something different than we usually do. We don't really do a lot of wrestling or WWE talk, but today it ties in beautifully to sports because ESPN and WWE tied in or finished a deal that we actually have no idea what it means because there's conflicting reports. So I had to bring in the pros to help me break it all down and help me understand and let me know if I have to pay for 17 fucking ESPN subscriptions. And then other than that, we're just going to shit on Hulk Hogan. All that and more next. Sports. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Stuff About Sports, presented by the Give Us a Shot Network, powered by Fast Break Coffee, sponsored, as always, by the haters. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to the YouTube viewership, podcast listenership, social media ship, first timers, last timers. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you can't do any one of those things, I am inclined to believe you are a hater. I have, like I said, Stacey, Barry, the Executives View. You see their tag on the Instagram right there. Barry, what's up? What's up, man? Stacey, how you doing, ma'am?
Hello. Excited to be here.
Tell us. There's a lot to talk about. But before we do that, most importantly, I want you guys to take a few minutes to kind of introduce yourselves to our network audience and tell us where we can find you and what you guys are all about.
Absolutely. I'll lead it off. Barry Jordan. I'm repping the 203, born and raised in Connecticut. Been doing this podcast thing for on and off for almost over 10 years, but just really started the Executives View with our good friend Aaron a couple of years ago, and it's kind of been snowballing from there. Just talking all things sports and then getting into WWE as well. We've all been lifelong fans. I've worked there for over 6 years. So I have knowledge, I have details, but I will never share them because I don't want to get in trouble. But, I'm happy to be on the show. I'm here because I was a hater. I hated on the homie and we went back and forth and chat. And now here we are talking. We're going to chop it up here and hate in person. We're going to hate live on TV for you guys. So I'm glad to be here.
I just realized I made the mistake and said Jackson.
That's okay.
Pick anyone. Jordan, Jackson, Tyson, they're all the GOATs like you. Yeah. So I apologize for that.
But Jordan's the real GOAT. If we want to have that discussion on another pod, Jordan.
Yeah, we could do that. You're welcome back anytime to do that.
But so, no, good to be here. Good to be here.
Hell yeah. So let's get into it. Hulk Hogan passed away. A lot of people were sad. A lot of people were happy. Depends on what side of the fence you're on, Stacey. I missed it on your show. Give me your overarching thoughts on how we should remember Hulk Hogan.
I think it's interesting because I'm a lifer. I mean, my papa came from Puerto Rico and learned English in the armories in Chicago watching wrestling. So I can't remember a time where I didn't love it. So I can remember as a youth loving Hogan, right? He was the all-American hero, right? He came out and everyone was Hulkamania. It was all about being Hulkamaniacs. But as you become an adult and you have access to adult things, you realize that, and I can say this, he's not the only one. So many of my childhood and youth heroes were not the personal people we thought they were. So it's a really difficult space. I mean, I don't, I'm sorry he passed. I feel bad for his kids, right? It's a tough situation to lose a parent no matter what. But I know enough to know that I respect and will honor his professional memory, but that's all I'll say.
Barry, should Black people be rest in peacing Hulk Hogan?
I mean, you know what? It's a difficult line to cross, right? Because I'll be honest with you. When we were messaging back and forth, I okay, I'll take it back. Like when he showed up on Raw, when Raw debuted on Netflix, I did not clap, and I was happy he got booed out of the building. And my daughter is 8 years old. Finally went to bed, thank God. And and she was like, "Daddy, why are you booing? It's Hulk Hogan." She knew who he was because she knows I watch wrestling around here. And I'm like, Hulk Hogan's racist, and it's a word that you don't throw around lightly. But it's a word that can fit the bill in a certain way because of how he's spoken. Obviously, that tape that was recorded without his knowledge that came out, all that good stuff, right? But then you look at what Booker T said, if he was racist when I said the N word, he could have got me fired. So it's like, is he racist? Is he not? I don't know. But, you grow up in the deep South and you're just used to that word, and you may not hate black people, but you're used to saying it and it doesn't make it right, right?
Right.
I'll just say I thought he was racist. I thought he was. I know Terry Bollea is not a guy that is my hero. Hulk Hogan was as a kid, right? I was a Hulkamaniac as a kid. I had the shirts. I ripped one. My mother yelled at me. I paid all this money for this shirt. How you gonna rip this shirt? I had that, right? So, and I grew up down the street from the building. So Hulk Hogan lived in the town I lived in Stamford, Connecticut. When I grew up in Stamford, Connecticut. So, I see him. You know what I mean? And Hulk Hogan, the character, should be revered because he put wrestling on the map. The person behind him, he said it in interviews, right? He said, I didn't live that life, prayers and vitamins and all that stuff. That character grew on me, and I became a better person because of it, right? But we all know that Terry Bollea that snitched on the wrestlers that tried to unionize, and then a couple weeks or month later got the fat contract from Vince McMahon, right? We know that guy. We know the guy that Bret Hart loathed because he held him down, right? We know that guy. But then you hear like people like Ric Flair and Jimmy Hart talk about him and like, oh, he was a great friend and all that. So I'm conflicted. I don't want to see people pass away. I agree with Stacy. His kid, you feel bad for the kids, but I was at the point when we were messaging. I was like, I said what I said when he was alive. I said it, my daughter knew it. I said it to anybody that would listen. You said it. I've seen your shows. I've seen your clips. You came out and condemned him for what he said. Now that he's gone, I'm not gonna take a dump on him. I just don't want to, because I lost a father and I know how that feels. And Nick and Brooke they put their father to rest. Brooke wasn't there apparently, but Nick was and put his father to rest. So I said what I said when he was alive, and I felt like if he could hear my voice, he could hear it. Now that he's gone, all right, we're good. I'll find somebody else that uses that kind of language and feels that kind of way about black people, and I'll have that in my ammo to talk about. But for Terry, I'm like, all right, he's gone. That's it. You know what I mean? I don't feel any type of way about it anymore.
Yep.
I believe this is one of your cohorts here in the comment section.
Yes.
Steven. Most important wrestler of all time. I would disagree. Stone Cold Steve Austin was the most popular character in the most popular era of wrestling. Important, yes, not the most important. Stone Cold is easily not only the most important wrestler in wrestling, not just WWE and all of wrestling, but he's also the greatest character in wrestling. I get that he didn't have this huge long run, but his peak is higher than anybody will ever reach. And
you're not wrong about that.
Nobody's ever come close. So
to
this day, when that glass breaks, like, I mean,
everybody knows.
Sure.
Like, and that's, people blame the crowds, right? Like, and it's so funny. I had this issue where I think I had a conversation. We have a podcast on our network, the High Spot Podcast guys, and they were talking about how internet has made wrestling fans not appreciate the game. And I was like, I don't think that's true. Go watch a few years ago when Stone Cold came out, when Vince said, nobody's ever helped me in my career. And that place blew. That was the loudest pop I've heard in years. People appreciate true star talent, like, they're invested. And so, like, just nobody's really, like, Roman Reigns is probably the closest. John Cena, as you see, as a heel, a failed heel. I'm not a fan of that whole thing, but He just wasn't. I don't want to go on a tangent. He wasn't. I get what he was trying to do, and I get that The Rock and the Travis Scott plans fell apart. But even if that is all that happened, he just wasn't heel enough for me. Like you should have, honestly, you should have beat the dog shit out of Cody 2 weeks before SummerSlam, like viciously, like how Triple H used to do, like just beat him up all up and down the arena and put him through glass, and like he never did any of that. He just talked shit to the fans. Like that was and he didn't really talk shit. He was honestly saying a lot of truth. But anyway, like here's the thing with Hogan. I hear you, man. He's dead. No need to throw. My granddad used to say, like, never kick a man when he's down. Well, that's when you're supposed to kick him. Then you'll learn.
Right.
And so
absolutely.
We don't give that pass to R. Kelly. We don't give a pass to Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby was America's dad until you found out he was drugging and raping chicks.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't give that pass to Chris Benoit. It doesn't matter how great you were or what you meant. People will tell you, if you give me the top 5 wrestlers you ever seen, Chris Benoit, in terms of technical wrestling, is probably in that top 5. But you won't get anybody to say that out loud. Nobody say, "Oh, well, respect him as the wrestler." No.
Yeah.
You did
how he died, though. I think it's
they won't even say his name. You're not even supposed, that's the name you're not allowed to speak.
But to me, in my opinion, I'm not saying I'm right or wrong or whatever. I'm just saying a negative light is negative light. It doesn't matter how you do it. So you can't make concessions for one thing and not the other. Bad is bad, period. Hulk Hogan spent an entire career putting down people, black people, other people he felt lesser than, taking advantage of people, sleeping with Bruce Pritchard's wife, filming it. Talking about he's going to have sex with his daughter. Like he would have, like, he's just weird. Just a bunch of just bad. Don't tell me that he got saved 2 years ago before he died. That doesn't absolve him from the hundreds of people he's negatively affected. You're allowed to say, fuck Terry, fuck Hulk Hogan. You can also say, man, he's one of the greatest things that's ever happened to wrestling. R. Kelly is probably the greatest R&B singer, composer, writer we've ever heard. Just know, when you're stepping in the name of love, he had a teenage girl locked into a studio.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't separate it. And that's been me and you, our argument. You can't separate it. I can't celebrate Hulk Hogan without thinking about the time that he held Virgil down in WCW, basically made him a slave on TV, and nobody cared, right? But they thought it was hilarious, and like he spent a career of doing that behind the scenes. So, like, I hear you, man. Like, I get it, but I think you reap what you sow in life.
I agree with you, but I'm not celebrating him.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think it's bad form for the WWE to celebrate him. Yeah. But then again, a week or 2 later, you see Triple H in the White House with the president. Yeah. So put it all together, right? So I mean, and that's another discussion for another day. But I'm not celebrating Terry Bollea. I respect what he's done in the business. Sure. And I agree with you to an extent that Stone Cold is a bigger star. To me, Stone Cold's the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time. I love Roman. I love John. John's a great guy. I respect Terry. Hulk Hogan. Ric Flair is always one of my favorites. Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart. You can list them on and on. But, like, from where WWE was a regional, all the wrestling was regionalized, Hulk Hogan made it national in one brand. And part of that was Vince making the character, but then Hulk Hogan playing the character and taking it to the level, you got to remember MTV latching on to WWE in the 80s, making it mainstream. Like, Hogan was one of the first to be on SNL, right? Saturday Night Live. Like, he was one of the first big movie stars, so it's like he did a lot, but then it didn't plateau, but Stone Cold took it to a stratosphere that it's never been. Like, you would never think back then that you could sell out an arena like that, and Stone Cold did it, right? Him and The Rock in Houston, WrestleMania, what was it? WrestleMania 17, 15, 17, I don't know which 17. One you want. 17. Yeah, 17. So I agree with you, but getting to Hulk Hogan, I don't want to take a dump on him anymore. I did it when he was live, and every time his commercial came on with the beer commercial, I rolled my eyes, and my daughter was like, "Daddy, why would you?" I don't like him. I don't like him no more. But I can't deny the fact I was a little Hulkamaniac, right? I was.
Yeah.
We all were, until the Warrior came out. Then everybody was a Warrior. But but seriously, I'm good with him. I'm good with him. I'm not going to celebrate him. Leave that up to his family. Leave it up to his friends. They can celebrate him. I'm not going to do it. And I felt it was not in poor taste, but it's just typical of WWE to do like the SmackDown and then the Raw following, doing the tribute and like having everybody come out and seeing CM Punk out there having to be in the front line when he talked as much junk about him as anybody
but
on
you
that
could see it on his face. Yeah.
But you could see on his face he didn't want to be there. You know what I mean?
There.
So, yeah.
I agree. Them doing it on 3 separate shows felt, but you could also get a sense of, they wanted to do more. It was like literally the least they could do. Like, I feel like if Hulk Hogan was in good standing, right, there would have been like a whole Eddie Guerrero type tribute.
He was
like,
you
know what I mean?
With the company.
If he didn't have this black cloud over him, because people cheered and because out of respect because he died, but it wasn't that long ago his last appearance, or he got booed out the building with Jimmy Hart. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people don't forget that. That wasn't that long ago. So, like, people don't forget. Again, you reap what you sow in life. I'm not going to sit there and pretend you weren't an asshole, and I'm going to treat you as such. Like, you don't get the pass just because you died. Just like, I agree though. 3 times doing it once, I get that they had to do something, but like doing it over and over, it just I would have been shocked if like the SmackDown crowd didn't boo. Like, you got the Raw crowd to cheer and be happy. But after a while, it's kind of like, all right, man, we gave you the one. All right, stop showing us this motherfucker, man. Like, we don't want to see this dude no more. And I'm sure.
I remember I worked there when they got caught with their pants down with Chris Benoit, right? Like, I was in the office. I remember when it happened. I just got in, and they were like, "Oh snap, Chris Benoit died." And they were like trying to get tribute stuff because it was not too far removed from Eddie dying. So Eddie had the patch on his arm and all that stuff. The EG, remember the EG patch that Rey Mysterio used to wear? So we had it, and then it started to come out what was happening, and like you were like, oh. So and then he got the email, take everything down. WrestleMania 20 didn't exist. You know what I mean? Like, so listen, I was there for that, and I'd seen the Petty Hogan, like not personally, but like I was there when he had the DVD, the anthology DVD was a hot seller, and we had to take all that inventory down because of the legal battle that he was having with Vince over the rights to Hulkamania and Hulk Hogan, and that's when the merch got pulled off a WWE shop because he got the rights to it, and they got petty, and Vince pulled everything down and didn't want to give him a royalty dime. I was there for all that. So, Crazy. You know what I mean? Like, I get it.
And I think the other thing that we had that, Barry, we didn't, the 3 different sleuths, but I was shocked and also not shocked at the amount of people that had no idea, because it comes in spurts. Like, there were so many people when he passed that until it came back in social media, there are so many new fans. And I mean, even a conversation in my house, was the dialogue, because there were a lot of people that are newer fans, because we talk about that all the time, that WWE is really trying to become more mainstream, more elite, more higher end. Yeah. So that's not going to be something that's going to be brought up in mainstream conversation. So in his passing, before that, there was not, I mean, we put something up when he was there with Jimmy Hart, and people are like, oh, I hate him. But there was not dialogue why. There wasn't. It was just, I hate him. So a newer fan would just assume, oh, I hated him because he was a heel turn, because of NWO or whatever. And it wasn't until he passed that it really did come back out, and we were able to, I don't want to say be vindicated, that's the wrong word, but those of us that really did not like him, it became mainstream to understand the why and the difference between Hogan and Terry. And so it was a weird space the first couple of days, and it wasn't until after the first the SmackDown where they did the memory, that I started seeing it come back through, and people were like, "Oh, I had no idea. I can't imagine. I had no idea it was this extreme." So it's an interesting situation to be in a few weeks out, where people are still saying, "I had no idea."
Either way, I mean, it is sad. It's interesting. It's an interesting conversation. So, I mean, listen, like I said in my post, if you're on one side, rest in peace to Hogan. If you're not, rest in piss. Like whatever you feel about him, it's okay to admit that he was a great ambassador for the. It's okay to say, hey, he meant a lot to wrestling. He's a pillar. He's on the Mount Rushmore, but he's also a terrible human being. And he went out. This is what happens, right? Like everything you do in the dark will come to light. And as you can see, it tarnished the end of what shouldn't have been, right? Like I think we all can agree this isn't the way it was supposed to end for him in terms of how he was perceived and how, like when Hulk Hogan passed, it was supposed to be like a huge thing. And because of his actions later in life, or I guess not later, throughout his life, and then getting caught later in life, it kind of went to waste. So.
But I think he was being the biggest icon. You've got to think we can see countless other wrestlers in those time frames that did some really bad stuff and were really bad people. But that was a day and age before social media where you could be the worst of the worst. And as long as on camera you were the greatest of the great, no one would ever know, because there was a lot of money and a lot of ability to cover that up. Yeah. So that's one of the blessings of social media now is you can't hide any longer. But there was a long time where you could
be celebrated, and you have that division, and that speaks volumes, because he's arguably one of the biggest stars and most recognizable. Everybody knows that name, and like he passed away, and you had people like me like, okay, you know what I mean? Like it makes you wonder what's going to happen when Vince finally, passes away. Because he should be on the Mount Rushmore for what he's done in the business, but then you look back and you're like, you know what I mean? Like
it's eerily the same situation, right? Like, especially with everything with the lawsuit and the fact that Vince, and I think it's going to be worse for Vince, because I mean, look at it now. They've all but erased him from basically everything, right? They don't mention it. They don't talk about it. And
they don't say his name.
It's worse for him because he was the boss. And it reminds me of like what happened with Dan Snyder with the Washington Redskins when that investigation came out and the things that he was accused of, and like there's just terrible shit. Like it's like, damn, dog. Like I don't know, man. Like I just sometimes, man, it just
not only was he a terrible owner, but now all that stuff came out about Daniel Snyder. You know what I mean? Like,
right. It's like it's like, man, these guys are getting enough money, man. Like let's just you get bored. Like what's wrong with you, man?
A guy like Vince and Hulk Hogan, you don't get that ESPN deal that just came about. Like you don't have those blocks to build on to get to this point where WWE is and where it could potentially head. And it's like, it sucks that they won't be mentioned in that same breath. Like you can, but it's like at your own peril. Well,
I'm glad you brought up ESPN and WWE. So let's great segue, man. You smooth, man. I knew you was a professional, man. I could sense it. So earlier this week, Disney basically bought the NFL. I mean, let's keep it real. I know they technically didn't, but they did. Like they bought the NFL Network. They're getting Red Zone. Thank God Scott Hansen came and cleared up that he'll continue to host Red Zone. Not looking forward to commercials. They try to get that shit off on us last season. Having a week where they played some commercials and everybody was like, whoa, hold up, dog. He's like, oh, we're sorry, we're testing. That lets me know, because that means they were working on this deal 2 years ago, right? Like, you know what I mean? They were so this thing is works. But 1.6 billion, I mean, it's a lot of money. I don't blame WWE for doing the deal, and they've been for a long time. And for some of us who remember, or at least were alive or remember that point in time where ESPN didn't have a lot of rights to sports. They were playing old AWA wrestling back in the day.
That's right.
So like it's like full circle, I guess. And they've been trying to get into sports entertainment. Honestly, this is, if you kind of paid attention to the sports business part of like the acquisition of WWE by TKO and UFC and Dana White selling UFC for $4 billion. And like TKO basically being combat sports entertainment. They got Power Slap now. Like, it's all one thing. And moving to ESPN was probably a nice logical move. Here's the problem. You're talking about this direct to consumer product where only the PLEs are going to be in this new ESPN thing.
Right.
But Stacey, I thought I already had ESPN direct to consumer. It's called ESPN Plus.
Right.
So now I got to pay for a separate thing. Unless I have cable, then I'll still get it through my ESPN subscription.
No.
But I don't get I don't.
No.
But when they said that, I said that's not true because I went to go watch the what was that big boxing match last? It was like pay-per-view. I forgot what boxing match it was.
It wasn't Crawford Canelo. That's coming up, right?
Yeah.
That's coming up. It was somebody. It was whatever the last big one is. I'm not a big boxing fan, but because it was a big fight, I wanted to watch it. I hit my ESPN Plus app. I was at work. All of a sudden, it was like, yeah, you still got to pay $49.99. I'm like, what the fuck do I pay for ESPN Plus for?
Exactly.
It's crazy. So help me make sense of what's happening. What is the baseline? What is the meat and potatoes of this deal?
I mean, I can start, Stacey. You can chime in too. I mean, for me, it's they are sold the rights to their PLEs, right? And you can get that through ESPN. Now, what I've read, I think everybody jumped the gun saying that the subscription to the direct to consumer was going to be $29.99. You had to pay that. If you already have it through a TV provider, you're already grandfathered in and you already get it. That's what I heard. So Stacey, what are you hearing now?
It depends on the subscriber. It just depends on the subscription. Primarily, it's going to be Hulu because Hulu is in with Disney. So if you have Hulu plus Live, it's part of it. If you have, there were two others, but Comcast will not be part of the deal. YouTube TV will not be part of the deal. So there were three other heavy hitters that you do cable subscriptions that are not part of this ESPN Plus. So it just depends on where you put your live on whether it's included or not.
This is the thing. So DirecTV, Hulu Live, Charter, Fubo TV, and Fios, if you have those, you have access because Hulu and Fubo TV are merging. Right. So that's how that kind of gets put together. That deal's not done, but that's essentially what's going to happen. Fubo TV is going to stay Fubo TV, but Hulu basically bought Fubo TV. It's weird. Like they're all starting to merge. It's right. You know how it's going to end up. There's going to be one or two streaming services less because everybody's all over the place. So if you have those direct to consumer, you already get grandfathered in with the ESPN direct D2C, right? I don't know about YouTube TV, which I have. I have Fubo and YouTube TV. Don't ask me why. And I have Xfinity, so I don't know how that fits in. But I think for the business side, it's a smart deal. I remember when they came up with this thing called the WWE Network, and I was there. I literally was there. A friend of mine was she was one of the leads on digitizing all of their tapes. Wow. So they basically had a group that took all their footage, digitized it, and had to put the logo on it. They had to do all this stuff to edits to get it digitized for the network. And then the network was a big thing. And then they launched that network, and it didn't make money because essentially what they did was they took it, and remember you had the 30 days free trial. So they got all these people to get the free trial, and then they didn't get any money off of it. But to see it from there, and then they started to do the building blocks. Peacock, I think NBC bought it, and then NBC has the deal, and then they got the deal with Fox, and now that Fox deal is over. So now it's back to Peacock. So now once Peacock, that deal has run its course, they got the Netflix, it's international, and it's all essentially they are growing their footprint. And now you can get these PLEs. We go back in the day. I don't know how old you are. I'm 44 years old. I remember you had to pay what, $50 a month to get a pay-per-view, unless you had a black box. Holla at your boy.
Scientific Atlanta, what up?
That's right. So, I think it was channel 101 or 9, what, I don't know. If you know, you know. So, but that was the only way to watch a pay-per-view, unless you got WWE Magazine, you saw the pictures. That's the only way you could see it, right?
Right.
or at WWE Superstars, they would show the highlights, I think, like maybe a month later. But to see it from where it is then to where it is now, and it just grows their footprint. I think the money part is, it might price out some people, and we talked about it last night, where the average consumer might not be able to watch it. But I look at it like this: I'm already paying about $10 a month for Peacock. If I had to pay for ESPN, it's another $20 on top of it. I'm already paying for Netflix to watch Raw. I'm not paying for Netflix specifically for Raw. I got kids that love Netflix, so I couldn't get rid of it. But I'm sure there, the money, it's all going to balance out. And honestly, what you thought you were saving by cutting the cord, you're just paying for streaming services now. They're going to get their money. They're going to get it where they know.
You're actually overall probably spending more.
I am
So like the trade-off is the customability, right? Like, I'm paying more for cable, but I also get to control the content that I'm getting. So people are willing to, like, I'm willing to pay more. I know I'm paying more than cable, but I get to save and watch when I want. I can skip commercials if I want. I can do all this other things. And that's kind of what you're paying. David Burns said, he remembers paying $60. It was $50-$60 back in the day.
That's
Pay-per-view. Obviously pay-per-view doesn't exist. It's PLE now. And the answer to your question, why didn't it shift it to Netflix? Because Peacock was paying $180 million to advertise all this stuff for the PLEs. ESPN's giving them $325. Again, this isn't an issue of why did WWE did this? Money. Like they're getting a lot of money. So I get it, but but think about what you're doing. You have Raw that's still going to be on Netflix. You have SmackDown that's on USA, so you need NBC for that. So whether you have Peacock or whatever you have, cable, however you have it, and then you need cable for CW because that's not a broadcast thing, right? So like you need that, and you're paying Netflix. What is it? $8, $12 a month for that? Peacock $10.
No, it's more than that. It's a little more than that. It's about 20.
Oh.
Yeah,
I need to check my Netflix.
If you are paying 20.
I paid through, so I have the Netflix Max bundle through Verizon, so I save a little money there, and then I have the Disney Plus bundle through Verizon, so I save a little money there as well. But to your point, you're going to pay at some point because I still pay for Prime because I got to watch certain Yankee games, football's on there. There's some shows on there I like, so.
Fair to say, you're going to be paying upwards close to $1,000 a year just to watch WWE for something that was available for $10 a month when WWE had their own network. Like between cable and all the streaming services, you may need to watch that plus the PLE with this new deal. You're going to be spending close to $1,000. It's no different than the NFL where you got to spend like $1,800 to watch. Not me. I have a little something called the Fire Stick. So jokes on you.
Yeah.
I ain't paying for shit. Like I'm being sorry for everybody else that don't got it, but $30 a month for some PLEs plus a Netflix subscription, like that's not. If you're, I guess the WWE fans will do it because they're gonna want to watch, and especially if you're in like you guys, half of your podcast is dedicated to straight up wrestling talk. So we have a whole podcast that's all they do. They travel. They were just at SummerSlam, so they're gonna have to pay for all this shit to do their job, to do what they love, or do they're not this guy. I'm gonna be sailing the high seas, pirating WWE events.
Exactly, right?
I can't wait. Come get me, Triple H. I don't care. But ESPN is trying to control UFC content, NFL content, and now WWE content, and it's like this is the future of sports entertainment, right? And NFL,
they paid a good penny for NBA too, right? Didn't they? They paid that deal. I don't know if they let the baseball rights go, but I think something with hockey, right? NHL, I think so. Yeah. They're in bed with it, and I was wondering why were they paying all this money for all this stuff, and now you see you understand, you see where they're trying to go with it. They want to be that hub, and because I said it last night, and I don't know how you guys feel about it, but like, I don't know how Jerm feels. I mean, he doesn't want to talk to us, but like, I have the bundle. I have the Disney bundle. I don't watch ESPN. I don't watch the through the app. I never do. Even to watch like the 30 for 30s or like Peyton's Places, which is pretty good. Stephanie's Places I was just on. That was pretty good. I don't use the app to watch it. Now I need to use the app. At least in the year 2026 when PLEs start, right? Because now I have
about it, Barry. You're going to use it once. Because, the other thing that we didn't even put into the equation is most diehard WWE fans want the catalog. And the catalog's up for sale right now because Peacock is running out, but ESPN didn't want the catalog. They don't want to keep that on their platform. So that could have been part of the deal.
Netflix will probably buy it.
Want it.
But nobody has it now. That's the problem. So like
right now, Peacock has it until it's
right. But that's going away. So it's like then nobody will have it.
Doesn't Netflix get don't they get the rights to it after it goes away?
No, they do not.
They're going to sell it
when it expires. I read the article yesterday. It's currently up for expiration, so it's up to be sold. So they're trying to find a buyer right now because if they don't want it, it just goes. And solid diehard WWE fans want the catalog. They want to be able to see old matches. They want to be able to see all of the branches of the WWE brand. So that's not even in the equation yet.
Yeah, it's an extensive library. I literally was there when they were taking old AEW or not AEW, AWA tapes and digitizing it and making it into their format. So it's for this reason. So I think there's a couple of brands that could use their catalog. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody like Apple comes out of nowhere and buys the catalog, or Mac or Hulu, HBO Max or something like that, because it guarantees you subscriptions. How many people are going to be subscribed to Peacock? What's the hook for Peacock after 2025?
Right, and they've already announced that they're going up by another $3 come January 1.
Yeah. Only hook for them is one playoff game in the NFL. That's it, and maybe the NBA, possibly. Right?
Peacock will exist because of NBC Universal. It's a large enough company that I don't think like Peacock is probably good. Nobody's going there for live events. They're going there for like the NBC properties, which produce probably the highest form television.
It's a reality TV base. I think there's a niche for it because we have it for the sole purpose of watching Real Housewives, anything Bravo related, all of the things that you get on cable to be able to binge. So it's a different niche market. It just doesn't.
WWE did feel weird on there. I get the partnership because they did have the partnership with NBC to put it on USA, but like the programming that and the type of television that NBC currently makes doesn't really fit what WWE does. Right. Maybe that'll change because with NBA going back to NBC for a little bit this year, with that deal going over to ESPN and Disney, it's huge for them. So maybe that'll change. But I have Peacock, so I can watch all the Chicago shows and Law and Order. Like that's my bag. And like you said, my wife watches all the she's on there. We watch On Patrol Live and like all reality based and Love Island or Love whatever. Real Housewives. All that good stuff. So I have no idea what's going on, but
I definitely don't watch that. I don't like. So like for me, as a wrestling fan and casually watching some other stuff, there's no reason for me to keep Peacock. So I'm cutting that cost out and reallocating it somewhere else, right? So probably it's going to be ESPN, or maybe I'll pick up Apple TV. I've never watched anything on there. Like there's only so much I can like. I got Netflix, I got Max, I got Disney because I'm a big Star Wars and Marvel guy, so I have to have that. And then I have, like I said, I have Prime. And then it's like, do I need all this stuff? You know what I mean? Like, just take my money at this point. You know what I mean? Just fine.
David Burns brings up a good point. The thing, like AEW, for a growing company, I know where to find them. Turner, that's it. Like there's HBO Max, but other than that, like there's not like I know where to go to get it. I don't have to have 17 different things. I get that they're in a different place than WWE is, but at least they're sticking to what they have and they're not. I mean, would they jump on ESPN? Which actually brings me the question: what did David Byrne say? We could see Stephen A. Smith and Pat McAfee on a pay-per-view together. I know they said that. I know they said that they would not be like, they're not going to have Sports Center highlights of WWE events. They're saying a lot. I wouldn't be shocked if they do it with UFC. There's going to be times during the year, especially in the summer, when like there's not a lot of NFL and things like that happening. They're showing bananas baseball. Like they're going to show WWE shit on that on ESPN. Absolutely. I don't care what they're saying right now. They're going to show it. And so I guess my question, Stacey, do you think this will legitimize WWE? Because there's always going to be those group of people that'll say, why are they putting a fake sport on TV? Like, that type of shit. When they watch the Ocho and everybody says that the NBA and the NFL are fixed, but then they'll talk shit about WWE. And I hate to break it to all you guys that say wrestling isn't real. I just want you to know those dragons on Game of Thrones, they don't exist.
Yeah, exactly.
Those zombies on Walking Dead, all the things that you watch. Yeah, the science teachers and Walter White didn't really cook all that meth. So I'm just
it's like all the Real Housewives realities; those are not fully reality either.
Yeah.
So
do you think being on ESPN will help? Do you think it'll bring a new audience to WWE or legitimize WWE to some people, or do you think it'll just be more of a clash of a culture thing?
Of course, I think it's going to legitimize, and I think that it broadens the expansion of what WWE's been trying to do for a really long time, and that's gather a bigger, more diverse economic crowd. I mean, it's always been mom and pop, right? When you talk about it, you think of the families that take the kids, but there's a huge economic married no kids, single no kids dynamic that a lot of that group are sports fans. They're the ones going and buying season tickets to NFL. They're the ones that are willing to travel all over the U.S. to go to every stadium they can. So having an easy access, if you're turning on your ESPN app and the first thing that comes up is WWE and it has something that looks interesting, you're probably going to check it out. And it would be easy to pull in somebody too from a nostalgic standpoint that maybe they were fun wrestling fans as kids, but they haven't been in for a long time. So having that access, they're paying for it anyway, right? I'm paying for ESPN app, and then I see that it's the other side of it, right? Like we're talking about as a WWE fan, how much it's going to cost us to do it. But, they're the hardcore sports fans. They're going to have access to something that they probably never considered having access to before, that they may have a few minutes before a game starts on a Sunday.
Yeah.
They want to go back and rewatch something and they access it. So I think it's going to mainstream for sure. I don't think we'll ever have the legitimacy that they strive for, but isn't that the whole point? Yeah. It's not the destination, it's the journey. So we are seeing an experience of things that we never thought we would see before in the years. So that's all because of the journey to become more legitimate. So we're benefiting as fans because we are seeing so much improvement in things across the platforms that it will never be fully legitimate, but that's okay.
Barry, this clearly TKO has a desire for WWE to have kind of the same audience UFC has, which is why they're pushing for this ESPN thing. Right. So obviously there's going to be a little skepticism about like the feasibility of the strategy, right? Like just, is this thing going to work? Obviously there's probably some tight asses that work at ESPN that probably scoffed at this entire idea. I think Pat McAfee kind of noted that by calling out, and this isn't the first time he's done it. He's called out people by name, but it seems like he's targeting a specific group or a specific sect of ESPN. Much like any other corporate structure, I'm sure it's very cliquey and there's factions and there's, political parties within the company that
good old boys.
Right. And I'm sure, and that's who Pat McAfee is obviously talking to, right? Before it was one person, Norby Williamson or whatever his name was, who ended up leaving the company, right? So Pat McAfee's powerful. The ESPN needs him. He don't need them. So like outside of Stephen A, is probably the second most powerful dude at ESPN right now. But do you think? I think he used the words "powerless bum ass suits" at ESPN didn't like this. So do you think that what's the right way to word this? Do you think that inmates are starting to run the asylum there at ESPN? Like, is this like, do you think, because there's a point in time where those bum ass suits were the ones making the decisions. Like, what do you think is going into this type of decision making for ESPN to bring in a company like WWE to do this type of deal?
I think on ESPN's side, it's desperation. I think they've made a history of turning their nose at WWE, their fan base, the lack of, calling it a sport. It wasn't a sport, it's entertainment. I think when Vince got rid of that, made it entertainment, and put, WWE entertainment, all that stuff, and, didn't hide the fact that it wasn't, not that it's fake. I hate that freaking word. It's fake. No. It's not, you know what? Because to your point, Game of Dragons is faker than wrestling.
Right.
I hate to break it to you, but
right.
I love that damn show, right?
Yeah.
So
except the last season.
But I think ESPN has a problem. They knew that's why Pat McAfee got the big check, because they had reached their limit. I have no desire to watch ESPN Plus. I have no desire outside of watching First Take and a sports game to watch ESPN. I really don't. So I hear what you're saying, Stace. Like, WWE can use ESPN to legitimize itself or get into it. ESPN needs WWE.
Yes.
Because now you got people that are going to subscribe to ESPN because of WWE, right? And I think the days of ESPN turning their nose at everybody is laughable, because at the end of the day, it's sports. It's just a game. You know what I mean? So, to your point, these tight asses and these white collar people that want to turn their nose at Pat McAfee, UFC was not cool years ago. Nobody wanted to see that. You know what I'm saying? And now that was the hottest thing. If you can get a UFC, if you had the rights to it, oh my God, you know what I mean? Like, and I think WWE is kind of in that vein. Like, they need them. ESPN needs WWE to stand up their app, to stand up that service that they're trying to put out there, because maybe NBA and football aren't enough, which is funny. Football is king. And that might not be enough to get people to tune into the app or to subscribe to the app. So I think those days of turning your nose up at WWE is laughable now, because and I saw Paul Heyman say it, like, the fact that people like Roman Reigns don't get nominated for an Emmy is hilarious, because his acting is, like, if you watch SummerSlam and watch Seth Rollins, that whole interaction he had, that's acting at its finest. I dare somebody to do that on live TV, one take, no safety net, and make it work like that. You know what I mean? Like, they don't do that. Even Saturday Night Live, sometimes they fumble their words, and you could see them reading the teleprompter when they're trying to do a joke. You know what I mean? Like, ESPN has finally conceded the fact that, you know what, WWE is probably bigger than them.
Yes.
Now you know what? I need to be in bed with them. I need a little bit of that juice.
This seems to be a constant, or not a constant, but this is like a new phenomenon with sports media, right? Like, before, it was rare for a company to outsource content, right? It was like, it was a person's job to come up with a show or come up with broadcasting. And nowadays, I mean, we see it with a lot of these podcast networks, social media things. They're outsourcing people who do the work and grow their own audience. ESPN literally did it with Pat McAfee. That was a created show through Pat McAfee. Pardon the Interruption was like that. Pardon the Interruption isn't an ESPN created thing. It was literally the first outside entity they had brought in, and it just lasted for 30 years. Around the Horn was the same. ESPN didn't create Around the Horn. It was its own thing, separate of ESPN talent, to do something. Tony Reali was like a video guy. Like, he wanted to do more They wouldn't let him. The tight ass suits that Pat McAfee was talking about didn't believe in him. He had one of the most successful shows in ESPN history. And so now they're like, why would we waste money creating our own thing when we could just go get another thing? Even with this NFL network, Rich Eisen's coming back. He's just going to bring his show to ESPN.
Exactly.
And inside the NBA, obviously, I think it'll be a different name, but they're going to shoot it in the same studio. Nothing's going to change other than the signage and the theme song. Like, it's going to be the same. It's going to be the same thing. It's outsourced talent. So ESPN is taking a huge gamble here. This is, again, I think we're all in agreement. This is a massive W for WWE. This is they're winning. That's 1.6 whatever what number was.
1.6 billion,
billion. So, but ESPN is taking the risk here because they're not even sure if this is going to work. Like, you got to get at least, I mean, just for the year, you got to get at least 150,000 people to pay $30 a month regularly for only WWE.
That's easy.
PLE content.
They will. Their ratings is about 1 to 2 million.
Yeah, this is not a gamble. This is not, and I want to say this is not a gamble, because if
this is smart business.
It is. It's a slam dunk. Because the one thing that you can say about WWE fans is we are loyal, period. Yeah. They're going to pay $50 a month, $30 a month, $100 a month, whatever it takes, because that's the game, right? Most WWE fans, this is the primary investment in what they love the most. And there's no price tag on that. So there's no gamble for ESPN. If anything, this was a slam dunk for them. This was an easy thing that they could say, well, okay, great. Because I know that we're seeing everything that across social media people are complaining, but 100% of the people that I've watched put out something on social platforms at the end, they said, I hate it, but I'll pay for it.
I'll still pay for it.
I haven't seen a single person that said I won't do it.
Yeah.
And that's the reality. So there's no gamble for ESPN. If anything, to Barry's point, it makes them relevant, because they're going to be people that are going to get the app and they're going to pay for the subscription that never would have touched them before. Because I paid for Hulu Plus because, just like Barry, I have kids, but I have Hulu Plus for Disney Plus. We have ESPN and I don't care. I watch ESPN for 30/30 because I have YouTube TV, and I watch ESPN2 because of Eli and Peyton during the football season. And to your point too, that I would say is, they go out and source it, because what we're seeing across social platforms now and everywhere is, it's not necessarily about the content. It's who's delivering the content that makes the difference. And that's the reality, that for years before social platforms, you got the information how the network wanted to give it to you and by whom they wanted to give it to you. And if there were only 2 or 3 or 5 or even 10 choices, you had to pick from those 10. Now I can get all of my NFL information by any means that I choose to get it from. The same for WWE. So the risk for ESPN has already been taken care of, because we've already proven as fans, no matter what the platform is, we're going to pay for it. So this is probably the smallest risk. I mean, it was a big financial decision, but they're going to make dividends from this. As long as
it's a long cry. It's a long cry from ESPN, because they were in trouble. For quite a while. You know what I mean? Like, Disney, it was a good investment at first, and I think they almost felt like, oh my God, what are we doing? We're losing money on this. Like, how do we they've been trying to figure out a way to monetize ESPN for years. And now they finally figured it out. They finally cracked the code. And you got to pay a little to get a little.
Yeah.
Here's the other difference too. Sports are seasonal. I'm a huge diehard NFL fan. I don't watch baseball. I don't care about baseball. Snore. Put me to sleep right now. I don't. Sorry, y'all.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And we're,
but some people are like that.
But some people are like that. So you're talking about a network that was based on seasonal content. I'm not going to go back and watch a football game from 20 years ago. I'm just not. I'm not that fan. But I'll tell you what, I'm not going to miss, and I'm going to see every game I can every single time it's on, and do screenshots and multi-screens or whatever. It's still seasonal. ESPN just took something to their platform that is all year long.
Mhm.
There's not a month that they won't have something that they can do, because we've seen as WWE fans too, where we have 10 PLEs now.
Mhm.
We're already seeing it going to probably having a PLE 11 months out of the year or even 12 months out of the year.
Right.
So ESPN is guaranteeing an annual subscription pay, where now it's probably seasonal. So they're bringing in money all year long now that they weren't having relevance to before this.
And they were trying to fill up content with like shows like Peyton's Place and all that stuff to get people to the app, and it still wasn't working.
No.
Now you got something that's all year round. Plus, not only have the PLEs, you have the pre-show, you have the post-show.
Yep.
I think there probably start to morph in some of the podcasts that WWE is doing, because
Right.
Cody Rhodes has a podcast. The Undertaker has a podcast with his wife, Michelle McCool. That's actually pretty good.
Mhm.
Stephanie has a podcast.
Yeah.
And then I think there's another one that they do too. There's a post Raw that they do
a
or
Raw
something like that.
recap every Monday.
A Raw recap. So you could, if they wanted, they could bring that content over. There's another reason to watch the app. It's the content that WWE can push out
Mhm.
is amazing, because now you think of it, it used to be one show a week was Raw. Now you
Mhm.
got at least 5-6 shows that they do. Raw,
Right.
SmackDown, NXT, LFG, and the Evolve. That's 5 shows that they do.
Mhm.
Not to mention a PLE. It's a lot of production that the WWE is doing with the
Yes.
TKO's arm.
Consistently.
It's a lot of content. It's a lot of content that they can dish out.
Triple H said that that the PLEs on ESPN, again, this is starting in 2026, so
Yeah.
we got time, but they're going to be bigger and more of a spectacle. Listen,
Sure.
Triple H, I don't want any more spectacles. I want shenanigans and good storylines that make sense.
That's all you want.
That's all I
That's
want. And like, you don't even spring for good pyro anymore. Bring back the big Titantron. Bring back the big stage. Like, I want to see cool. Like, I don't want to see, because right now, all you know what we're gonna get? We're gonna get more drone shots leading into a commercial, followed by an advertisement, followed by a celebrity at ringside, by another commercial, another drone shot into an advertisement, and Seth Rollins wins the match. That's all we've been getting. And I want, we're gonna get more of that. So strap it on, because that's what it's gonna be. And then after that, like just give me pyro, give me cool pyro. Like I'm tired of. I don't want to see.
I miss the old pyro from the 90s.
Man, I want lightning bolts. I want all of it, man. Yeah, when the show starts, I want all of it, man. I don't want to see all this other nonsense. This LG LCD screen. That's all you got. I want a big stage. I want the big curtains and drapes hanging down like they used to be, and the lights. Like, make it a thing. Like, it's, if you got the money, clearly you got the money now. Like, I don't know. It's just it's like, I get you got a lot of talent. You got to pay them, but it's interesting.
We're going to also see more crossovers, because you said Rich Eisen show's coming back.
Mhm.
Seth Rollins is on there all the time.
Yeah,
He was just there. He was just there 3 weeks ago selling his injury, covering a vacation.
Right.
And you consistently see, even where he is now, his ratings skyrocket when Seth's there. So you'll see that across the board. You'll see more of that happening with ESPN. And so that'll make those passive fans or the not sure fans get even more involved.
Yeah.
So
like Roman Reigns was on First Take, right? Like,
yes.
You know, like the morning of the announcement, Triple H was on Get Up, and then Roman was on First Take. And, you know, like, they had to, you could tell they had to do their homework, because they had to talk about, you know, his impact and all that stuff. Like, to see Molly actually ask a question that I didn't roll my eyes at was actually kind of refreshing, because every time she asked what I roll my eyes. But you know what I mean? Like, I'd be like, Molly, just shut up and let the guys cook. Always want it, but can I just say something? Can I just say something? Yeah, whatever. Anyway, that's just my pet peeve on that First Take. But you can tell, like, that's going to be a thing now. Cody Rhodes will show up. Roman Reigns will show up. John Cena will probably show up. Brock Lesnar will probably show up.
We didn't even mention Brock Lesnar. So
that's right. I didn't mention Brock Lesnar.
Strategic planning by WWE and ESPN. A lot of people ruffled feathers. Your thoughts on Brock Lesnar returning? Always, seemingly, if there's a John Cena leaving a match, there's always going to be a returning Brock Lesnar to F5 him to start a storyline. Word on the street is John Cena wanted to face Brock Lesnar one more time. So I guess to hell with the lawsuit, to hell with whatever was going on.
Yeah.
Selective, whatever. Like that.
Selective.
Is there no such thing as consequence in life anymore? Like you just. I mean, for all that, it's a joke. It's everything. Don't talk to me about lawsuits. Don't talk to me about morals. Don't talk to me about sensibility. All you care about is money. All you care about is pushing your agenda. Don't talk to me about that. Just tell us you don't care. Yeah, Brock Lesnar was part of this terrible thing that supposedly happened, and we swept him under the rug for the last several months. But hey, John Cena's retiring, and we're going to ESPN, and Brock Lesnar is a universally known name to people who are outside of WWE because of his UFC connects. Everybody knows who Brock Lesnar is. He's like Hulk Hogan. Not everybody may not know who Roman Reigns or Seth Rollins is, like mainstream wise, but everybody knows who Brock Lesnar is. And so it just feels gross, like that he just showed up and at the day before or 2 days before this huge the landscape altering decision has been made. It just feels weird. What do you guys think about that?
Oh, it's definitely planned, and I think they had it in mind, and we talked about it on our show last night. It's just the guy that you never want to see. Every time he comes back, you don't like. You either love it because you're a wrestling fan, or you're just like, not this guy again. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like when he comes back, like when he came back at Money in the Bank. I think it was 2019. Did I ask for this? Did I really ask for this? No, I didn't. You know what I mean? Like, I'm literally in my living room right here with my daughter, and like we're about to turn it off. John Cena having a swan touch. She's crying. I really wanted John to win. He was really good. He was doing good. I said, I know, babe. But then I heard, and I heard the music, and I was just like, I don't know what's worse, that or Goldberg coming back as a wrestler. I didn't know which one I wanted least. Which one did I not ask for more? That one or Goldberg? But it's like, yeah, like all of a sudden those text messages came back to life. Those screenshots started to resurface. You know what I mean? Like all of a sudden, right? It's just, I just don't want him here. I don't want to see it. I don't care. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Like, I'm not interested. I'm not invested. Like, I said it last night, and I think Stacey was laughing. It's like, how long are you here for? Sleep over there. When you're done, fold your blanket up and get out of my house. That's it. Like, just go. Because that's what you do. You
Brian Williams says, let's bring back all the criminals. Vince has opened the door for his return. But I mean, he's saying that, but he's right though. Like, what's the line? You know what I mean?
There's no line.
There is no line.
Right. So Stacey,
there's no such thing as bad publicity, right?
Right.
That's right.
Well, here's the problem, right? Caitlin Clark is not the best player in the WNBA, but she's the biggest star.
Absolutely.
She's a superstar. Brock Lesnar is a superstar. So it doesn't matter what, superstars get special treatment. Special people get special treatment. That's in every facet of life. Brock Lesnar, did you hear the people? Like they didn't care. Like they're just like that reaction that he got was not the Hulk Hogan reaction. He got the reaction of a star. And at the end of the day, Nick Khan and Triple H and whoever benefits from this deal, that's what they care about. All it does is vindicate and validate the decision to bring him back when he gets a reaction like he gets.
Sure.
Now, it was SummerSlam. It's a different crowd than Toledo. So let's see what happens when he goes to a normal crowd rather than a Big Four pay-per-view or PLE. Let's see what happens when he goes to a regular city. Will he get that kind of same reaction with a bunch of regular people? Probably, right? Yeah, because he's Brock Lesnar, and that's the point. So I don't know, man. I don't know what to think of it. I'm a Brock Lesnar fan. I like him again, but I'm with you. How many times do we need to see Brock Lesnar return to do what? It's just he's not going to be there for a long time. This is not a CM Punk situation because CM Punk had stuff to prove. Brock has nothing to prove. There's no just like Goldberg. There's no reason for you to continue to come back other than to collect checks. And people are going to see through it, to me. I don't know how you guys think about that.
Yeah, he's not a lifer. He's never been. Like, when he first came up, He was the next big thing and abruptly left after WrestleMania 20 because he wanted to do other things.
Mhm.
He's not. I feel like there's guys like CM Punk that's their love. That's like Randy Orton. They love this. John Cena loves this. Brock Lesnar loves the paycheck. He loves the
Right.
payday. That's how I feel about him. So why do I care when he comes back? You know what I mean? Like, 5F5s on John Cena, bloodies him up, and then all right, where's my check? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
What I always remember is him after the WrestleMania with Roman Reigns and throwing the belt at Vince. That's who I think he is.
This better end with a WrestleMania of Brock Lesnar, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns fighting for the rights to Paul Heyman. That's all I want out of this.
That would be awesome.
Whoever wins gets Paul Heyman, and that's the end of that.
I think by then we
yeah.
moved on. By then he'll be with Seth and Breaker, or more so Breaker by then. So,
Braun, he'll be with Braun Breaker, right?
Yeah, because he's
Fatal Five-Way.
Yeah, that's right.
That's crazy.
I mean, I was telling the guys last night, I have an 11-year-old that was ecstatic when he came back. I mean, I was out of town and I called home on FaceTime and my 11-year-old's doing cartwheels in the background because he doesn't know, right? He's just a fan. So I think he is indicative of the fair weather fan that just loves a good surprise. I think that's the reality is there was a level of shock when he did come because those of us that know didn't think we would see him come back. Right. And you've seen it on socials every time there's a PLE, somebody on social says Brock may come back this time. And we're always like, no, he's not. So when he did, I think there was a lot of shock value to it. But the reality is there is different levels of fans, just like sports. And the thing I would say is we let some pretty schmarmy people play football, play basketball, play all the things. So, and even after it comes out that they've done ABCDQRS, they might disappear for a little bit, but then they come right back. Yeah. So the WWE standard is set because we are a fickle society anyway. We are willing to be mad only as far as till we are no longer entertained, and then we want our entertainment back. Mm-hmm. So in this situation, I didn't like him as a wrestler. So even previous to him making terrible life choices, I didn't care for him beforehand. I never thought he was a wrestler. He was a go and blow kind of guy. He came in for the check. And I would even say as much as I dislike Logan Paul, at least Logan Paul feels like he has more of an invested interest in what he's doing than I ever have seen Brock do. You know how I feel. I agree with you. I agree with you. But the reality is we know why.
Can I go through one show not mention Logan Paul?
No, and I had to because I wanted to get your reaction.
I know you do do it.
But the reality is we're only as mad as our fickleness is. So there's some outrage. There's some people that are upset right now that when we see Brock come back Friday night, less people will be mad. And the first time we see him on a PLE and we see the wrestling, there'll be more people who are like, oh, I'm glad he's back. And that's just the reality because that's how fans are. And there are few fans in any sport or any sports entertainment that hold on to their compass when it comes to their heroes that have fallen or the people that they love or hate. And that's the reality with who we are. So, I didn't want him to come back because I didn't think he was a great wrestler, but we've got the added layer of the things that he has allegations for. And as I told the guys last night, if we were in a regular work setting, if you were accused of what he was accused of, you would get put on leave of absence, right? Paid leave of absence pending the investigation. They're not going to bring you back because you may make the people around you feel some kind of way because we don't know if it happened or not. But if it did, we can't run the risk of first it either happening again or there being collateral damage. Clearly, that's not the case here. And I had said last night, my concern was for the female wrestlers that didn't know he was coming, that had no idea he was there, that then he walks out and they felt some way about it, that they are in a work environment that maybe don't feel comfortable right now. So the only saving grace could be is that maybe he's here temporarily long enough for them to go to Clash in Paris or the next one and we get a Brock Cena tussle. Great. Go away. Bye. Sell a couple shirts for a month.
Because I don't know. Like,
Go.
I feel like, I don't know, like the way that Vince has always run WWE is like, I'll bring you back if I can make money off you, and that's kind of what's happening with Brock. Like, can I make more money than I would lose bringing him back? Like,
Sure.
you know what I mean? Like, is the juice worth the squeeze? Like, that's how I always say any sport, like anybody that has been in trouble with the law or something, like, can I make money off you? And you can make more money than you would lose. Like, he would bring more money at the gate than people would say, oh, I'm canceling my Netflix. I don't want to watch this anymore. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, why wouldn't they bring him back? Vince has brought back Hogan when they had so much trouble, so much history, and so much beef. He brought back Bret Hart after he basically watched his brother die and did, the show won. And Bret Hart came, you know what I mean? Like, after all that they went through. So, like, am I surprised that Brock came back? No. Did I want him back? No. Am I happy that he's back? No. Can I really just wait this out? Yes.
Yeah. And for every fan that's not happy, there are fans that are scrambling to the Fanatic shop to buy a shirt to see what else they can get on. And they're going to.
He has 3 shirts. He has 3 shirts on WWE Shop. They're all sold out already.
Of course they are. And I'm sure they sold out the first weekend.
The response online, his return has already garnered 75 million impressions, which is the most in so. And here's the thing. So you'll get the people that'll say, well, the updated lawsuit, Brock Lesnar's name is taken out of it. He's cleared of any wrongdoing. He's not part of the lawsuit, and he hasn't been in trouble. I think I don't know if I buy that completely. Your name was brought up for a reason.
Yes.
We didn't pick you out of nowhere. Can we substantiate any of it? Can the person who is filing the lawsuit substantiate it? I don't know. But the truth of the matter is you're not in the lawsuit. So there's nothing to be punished for because you didn't technically do anything. Fine. All right. So what's the other problem? Stacey, you brought it up. Do the women in WWE feel safe and supported? I think ever since Vince has gone, and a lot of Vince's buddies, John Laurinaitis and such, are now removed, and Triple H and Stephanie are in charge, I think the women are in a much better place.
Absolutely.
Making way more money. Legit, Rhea Ripley is a legit star. Like,
she's the biggest star in WWE, arguably.
Biggest.
Maybe top 5 at least.
And she's, if you didn't know, Germ, she says my name.
Does she?
Yeah. Because her dog's name is Barry, so
I'm glad you get to live in that fantasy.
I get to live in that fantasy world, and everybody knows I am Mr. Ripley on Wednesdays.
That's right.
I do love her so much.
Well, I'm gonna see if she can get a dog named German. See if she can get a dog named German and make that happen.
Exactly. Right.
So, Stacey, to your point, if women feel safe under Triple H, and if they trust Triple H, which I think they do, I think they'll be okay with this. This doesn't mean that Brock Lesnar gets to roam the halls and be in catering and do he can come in, do his program or do whatever he's there to do, start the show, talk shit, leave the arena. There's ways they can make the women feel safe, but I think not that I'm not disagreeing with you, but what I'm saying is this wouldn't have happened. I think Triple H has the wherewithal to talk to at least the women leaders of the locker room and say, hey, just letting y'all know this is what's happening. What can we do to make you feel safer? Do you want us to make sure you avoid Brock at all costs? Mm-hmm. Maybe they don't care. Maybe I haven't seen anybody on Twitter or some woman in WWE talk shit. But
they're not going to do that.
And they're not going to do that. But
they're not going to do that.
I don't know. Like there's been things that people have said in the past, speaking out against things they don't like, whether that's storyline wise or people coming back wise, or just certain aspects of the business, even referring to different companies. So, maybe Brock Lesnar is just blacklisted from being, hey, you can't say nothing about Brock, whatever. But I think Triple H has garnered enough goodwill within the women's locker room to have that conversation and to respect if they feel uncomfortable. Well, we're still going to do it, but we're gonna make sure that Brock has no contact with you guys throughout the building. He's going to go to his room. Where the people that need to talk to him will go talk to him. He's going to go out, do his thing, and you'll never have to interact with him or whatever. And again, we don't know. There could have been a huge team meeting, and he was out there talking, and everybody hugged and sang it out, and maybe that could have happened, or none of that could have happened. Everybody could have said "fuck off." But the reality is, Brock Lesnar makes business sense for WWE, especially doing this type of move with ESPN, because when Brock was away from WWE, he was all over ESPN because of UFC. Again, a TKO connection. So I hear you. I get it. I'm not disagreeing with you, but I think I think WWE is just going to keep it going, and they're going to use Brock Lesnar just as much as he's using them. He's getting a paycheck, and they're using his publicity.
It's a different time,
and it's a different time. Yeah, but I think
it's a different time now.
The women are. I think the women will be fine overall. They have their own pay-per-views now. Like they have their own. Like they're making real money. They're making money off merch. They don't have to be doing broad panty matches no more. Like that's legit. Like shout out to Triple H for making that happen, and that's a good thing. I think Stacy's frozen in shock.
It's in shock, right? But no, I agree with you, because it's like, to see where the women were then till now, it's a different time. It's a different locker room, right? It's not that good old boys kind of locker room where you kind of, you have that I don't know if like it's a high school mentality, you can kind of say, in the locker room. Like it's different now. Like I've been in catering, you know what I mean? I've seen it from then, almost 20 years ago till now. It's different. It's a lot different. Do I think Brock was a predator? I don't think so. So I don't think the women have anything to be worried about, and I don't think that would be tolerated right now. Yeah. I really don't think.
Yeah, Triple H ain't playing that shit these days.
No, like, absolutely not.
Especially now with all of the political and the like obviously with the deal with ESPN and a lot of the political things that he's involved in involved the business dealings he's involved in. He's well aware, especially with his wife. His wife ain't playing that shit either. Like it's like Stephanie walked away from the company when her dad was there for some of the stuff that he was doing. So there's not a chance. Like those concerns that people have, like Stacey was having, are valid, and the people that I see on the internet are valid. But you either trust Triple H and you trust the current WWE power structure, or you don't. And I think all those conversations happened before Brock Lesnar stepped foot into SummerSlam. So
absolutely.
I don't know. After watching Unreal, I think you saw that there are certain things when they have to have the ability to have a surprise. But they're going to have to keep it completely under wraps, and that was the conversation a lot on Monday anyway, when there was talk about him, that there was not. And I'm sure when we see the next season of Unreal, and if it is about SummerSlam, they're going to say the same thing, that they had to keep it absolutely as under wraps as they possibly could. So I don't see those pre-conversations happening. I definitely see a post-conversation happening after the fact, but given the need for the shock value, which is the whole point. Right. That's the whole point, is that everyone is super surprised. You get the likes, you get, to your point, you said it's been seen 17 million times, something like that, whatever.
75 million.
75 million. So the reality is you don't get that shock value if anybody besides the need to know people find out beforehand, because there's always
return was the same way.
There's always someone willing to leak.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I don't think there were pre-conversations, but to your point, I think it's a safe environment. I think they've cultivated a beautiful relationship with the women. Allegations of this type of assault still always come with a question. No matter how safe an environment you make, there's still always going to be a doubt, right? Is absolutely innocent until proven guilty. We also know that in this environment previously, because I think that Stephanie and Paul have really worked hard to make it a much safer environment, a much greater environment, a pro-women environment, everything.
Yeah.
When you bring back something related, there's still always going to be a hesitation or a question. Maybe not across the board to fans, because again, we talked about that, fickle fans, but when there's always going to be a maybe a double look or a maybe I shouldn't go over there, or I'm going to say hi or whatever. And that's the reality. That's what happens with this kind of an allegation, especially in a public environment like this.
All right. Before we get out of here, I meant to say this earlier to give you guys time to think about it. So I'm sorry I'm putting you on the spot. But I want to know not who you think is the best. The top 5 wrestlers you just enjoy that are your just favorite. I'm not telling you to give me. I don't
current
any all time.
All time. I mean, for me, my number one.
There's my number one right there. Yes.
Who is that? Shawn Michaels?
Yes.
The Heartbreak Kid.
Yes.
Listen.
Yes.
That's terrible. He's not even top 5. I'm sorry.
Oh, stop. All right, we can end this show
you
now.
You want to throw down, don't you? Oh.
I have you ever seen a bad Shawn Michaels match?
Never.
I mean, for the first 3/4 of his career, when he wasn't hurt, he didn't have anybody really to wrestle, which is why he's regarded the way he is now. He rose to stardom, and when I said Stone Cold rose to prominence and he was dominant in the most popular era, Shawn Michaels dominated in the elite. Like he had no real competition. So he was a star. He was a great wrestler. He's great, but people severely overrate him. I'll tell you, and not only will I take the disrespect a little step further, Chris Jericho is better than Shawn Michaels at literally everything. And you will not get a person to tell you that Chris Jericho is the greatest. Chris Jericho is better on the microphone. Shawn Michaels is terrible on the microphone. He's not good on the microphone. He has charisma out the ass. He doesn't cut a good promo. Triple H cut all the good promos coming up. That was Triple H was the guy.
Oh God,
Chris Jericho's better on the microphone. Triple H is not Triple H. Chris Jericho's better on the microphone. He is a better in-ring wrestler. He is a better technical wrestler. He also is a better heel and a better face because he can do all of them. Shawn Michaels can't do all of it, like that, not to the level at a higher level. Shawn Michaels is a great baby face. He's a good heel, but Jericho
Shawn's a better heel than he was a baby face.
Right.
Because
but Jericho,
who has ever chosen Chris Jericho for their final match? Some of the greatest legends of all times have asked for Shawn Michaels to be their final match.
Well, that's more political, right? He's built that legend.
No, it's not.
No, it is absolutely not.
It delivers.
No.
Oh my Lord.
Anyway. I honestly, we could have this debate all night. I could stay up for another 3 hours and debate you.
Yes, we could.
Because if you've ever watched him work, Shawn Michaels makes others look great.
Yeah.
Chris Jericho said his greatest match was with Shawn Michaels. That's for a reason.
Prototype Dolph Ziggler was pretty good. So Chris Jericho.
Get out of here. Then that's your top 5.
Okay.
Jericho, Dolph Ziggler, like Dean Malenko.
No.
Is that what we're doing?
No. Man of 1,000 holds. I like Dean Malenko.
Man of 1,000 holds, right?
Shout out
is
to
that
him.
What we're doing? But no, listen. Shawn Michaels is my favorite of all time. I was a big DX fan coming up. But I respect the hell out of Shawn Michaels when he was younger. I loved the Rockers when I was a kid. I love Shawn when and now Shawn Michaels has left the building, with Scary Sherry. Like he put on some matches for the IC title, like the first ladder match at WrestleMania. Like he was wrestling before wrestling was cool. All right. Yes. So that's for me. Ric Flair is one of my favorites because he did it in a time when wrestling wasn't that big, but everybody knew who Ric Flair was. And, I respect the hell out of him. Chris Jericho is great. But for me, it's Shawn, it's Ric Flair, Stone Cold. I was a huge Stone Cold fan. I had stopped watching for just a little bit, and then I watched MWO, and I had to stop watching WCW because there was this guy in 1996 that was causing hell, cursing, drinking beer, and going crazy, and his name was Stone Cold Steve Austin. He made me flip back to WWF, and it was on from then. Like he was amazing. God, it's so like what is that? Shawn, Rick, Stone Cold, Triple H. I love Triple H.
Yes.
I really think he's underrated. Like he's a great heel. He was a good babyface, but he was even better heel. I loved watching him. But honestly, I loved Sting.
Yeah.
I loved Sting when I was a kid. Like the face paint, like he looked like a superhero. Like to me, like he was like with I'm talking about blonde hair, crew cut Sting. You know,
Surfer
before he
Sting,
went
right?
to the Crow Sting. Like I was a big Stinger. Like I was one of the Stingers, right? Like I loved Sting because I remember 6:05 TBS on a Saturday, and that's how I got to watch Ric Flair and Sting, and I loved watching Sting. But there's so many great wrestlers that I could talk about. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat was amazing. You know, his matches with Ric Flair are legendary. You know, I can go like Bret Hart was really he was great. But I mean, yeah, those are my guys. I can go on and on. A lot of guys.
Stacey, you got a 5 that you can rattle off?
I mean, so many more than 5, but I go back further. I mean, I'm a little older than y'all, so I can remember as a child going to watch Dick the Bruiser locally. And as a small child, my first ever favorite wrestler was Harley Race.
Yeah, absolutely.
So those were some of my old favorites. I mean, Shawn Michaels is my number one end all be all. I'll die on that hill. And he paved the way. That's all I'll say. Love Stone Cold. I mean, I was hitting the road, seeing them everywhere. I mean, the Hardy Boys changed the face of tags, period. They did things that we never thought we'd expect to see in mainstream wrestling. And I thoroughly enjoyed traveling across the US, watching them do it everywhere I could. Currently, and I said this when we had our evolution, PLE, the women, I love Chelsea Green. Currently, I love Rhea.
She's amazing.
The women just, to me now, give me a sense of love for wrestling for women wrestlers that I never thought I would have, because until now there wasn't a space for them to truly be wrestlers. So to see women like Chelsea, to see women like Io that really are just giving it in a way that we don't see it. And I mean, I heard Hunter say that during the Unreal, that the women give it 5-1 versus the men, uninhibited. And you see that
they have to,
because they have to. And I would say that I would put them currently for all favorite to see, Chelsea and Rhea. Love them.
So I told you, Jericho.
Don't forget, Jeremy, you don't have a Chris Jericho without Shawn Michaels. All right?
That's right. You don't, because he paved the way. And I got to tell you, you said that he was in a small main. You know, he was part of that built it. They were at the beginnings when you were paying the prices that you started seeing SummerSlams get more expensive, WrestleManias get more expensive. That was when it was still PPVs. I mean, I was paying to see Shawn Michaels.
I hear you, and his reward for that, even though he's an overrated, under-talented, overpushed, overhyped, passive-aggressive, drug-addled bully who thought he should just be forgiven because he found Jesus. He politicked and buried everybody throughout his entire career, but it's okay. He runs NXT now. Shawn Michaels.
Who did he bury?
Everybody. The whole DX run, him and China and Triple H, all of them just buried everybody. He buried his partner. He buried
the only one he put his thumb under, I could legitimately say probably The Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Rock would tell stories of how Shawn Michaels would talk shit to him.
Okay, and The Rock's not doing that now.
Who did the Rock? Yeah, probably.
So let's talk about that. Who is he doing that now to? Because he has all the power. Let's talk about what he did to this Cena run. I mean, we don't have time for that, but I'm just going to say, if we're going to talk about
I believe Travis Scott did that to the Cena
absolutely not.
Yeah,
I think
if anybody, The Rock buried, or at least tried to bury, Roman Reigns. He was supposed to have that WrestleMania match in Philly against Roman Reigns.
Sure.
And the movies, whatever he was doing, got in the way of that. And then, of course, the CM Punk injury kind of gave him an excuse to change the plans. But
Well, I think
he's
the
also
people were
said
pissed.
he gets what he wants eventually.
Yeah.
He was very clear
Yeah.
about that. And he does get what he wants eventually.
Also, if you remember in the Alliance storyline, Shawn Michaels was pivotal behind the scenes helping Vince because he was injured. That a lot of the Taz spoke openly about how Shawn Michaels would run his mouth about the ECW talent, and when the WCW merger happened, buried a lot of those guys who were really good. Guys like Booker T, who had to fight and claw his way, was treated like a joke. You know, insulted basically every
But Shawn
big
wasn't
W.
the only one.
Right.
I got you, but
guys-
Shawn spearheaded that movement. Like he was at the top
That's
because
all
he
because
couldn't
he
wrestle.
technically
Because
was
he
barely there. He was barely there. Like
Right.
honestly,
Right.
RVD has the bigger has beef with Shawn, and that'll never change. Big time beef. But a lot of WWE guys treated the ECW and the WCW guys like shit when they came.
Yes.
When they bought WCW, and some of those guys came in, they put them at the bottom of their foot because it's like, you tried to put us out of business. You guys did a lot of underhanded stuff and blah blah blah. So, I mean, it wasn't just Shawn. It was a lot of guys.
And you got to think they were going through mass warfare. They were trying to see who's going to come on top. It was more about I hate you because you try to take my livelihood, right?
Yeah.
So it was more than just a beef about wrestlers. It really was. It was TV wars.
Let's not forget Owen Hart. They buried Owen Hart. They did blackface for Mark Henry. They buried Mark Henry.
Yeah, that was awful.
Shawn Michaels kicked Mike Knox out of the WWE and was like, "Who's Mike Knox?" Like that's all Shawn Michaels, man.
Yeah.
CM Punk. That's the whole first ECW run, and when CM Punk was trying to rise through the ranks, like all that was halted because of Shawn Michaels. Now I'm sure CM Punk didn't do himself any favors, but like anytime there's he just has this track record. There's a reason why there's a bunch of people that just don't like Shawn Michaels, and they give him a pass now because he's a nice guy now. But for me, it's not even about all of that stuff. For me, it's just like, I just don't get it. Like he was very he jumped off things, and I wouldn't consider him a high flyer, but his move set was very basic. He wasn't a great technical wrestler, not really ever. Like he had some moves, he had signature moves, and he had this unreal ability, which is important. It's probably the most important thing for a wrestler or a professional wrestler, this unique ability to connect with people. Like you have to do that. And he's probably the best to ever do that. But, you know, like John Cena has that. John Cena isn't a great technical wrestler. Neither. I mean, Stone Cold really isn't either. But
he was. No, Stone Cold was.
He used before his injuries. Yes.
Stunning Steve Austin was amazing.
What I mean is Stone Cold with two knee braces is not a great technical wrestler. At the height of his powers, he wasn't
taken away
at that point. He wasn't at the, but it didn't matter. He had already built himself to where he could do those types of things. But
that's the difference. I mean, that's what we've been talking about all night long is sports entertainment. Mm-hmm. You don't have to sell your charisma to be the top quarterback in the world.
That's true.
Right.
You don't have to sell your charisma to be the best of the best when it comes to any other sport, but this is sports entertainment. Right. And it's not. You can be the best technical wrestler in the world, but if you can't connect to the fans in a means that makes a difference in the storylines and the promos and them coming back and paying for tickets, and again, let's go full circle, paying for ESPN every month, you're not the reason that you're here for, and you're not going to make it. And Shawn Michaels was one of the pioneers of that. And that's the reality of the business is you can be as great as you want to be from a wrestling standpoint for pure wrestlers. But if you don't have the charisma and the ability to sell it, the storylines, the telenovela, the soap opera, if you can't do that, you will not go down in history for being one of the best of all time, because that's what it is. It's not wrestling. It's not Greco-Roman. It's not freestyle. It's wrestling entertainment. And that's the fundamental difference. You can't have one or the other. And I said this last night. You can't be the best promo ever and not be able to wrestle. You also can't be the best wrestler and not promo. If you can't do both, you will not be known forever. And that's the difference.
Yeah. That's why like Ric Flair is one of the greats, you know, and like that's why right now people don't really say it as much, but Seth Rollins checks every box
Yes.
because he
Oh my
doesn't.
God, that's another overrated guy.
You know what? I can't say that because he doesn't have a bad match.
Right.
He's a good wrestler, but it's more than that. This is my thing with the Shawn Michaels. Like at his best, he had to have a sidekick. The trainer, Triple H, Sid Vicious, Seth Rollins, the best Seth Rollins ever. He can't do it by himself. The best he was ever.
I don't know. I
don't agree.
I disagree. I really feel like Shawn didn't need anybody to prop him up.
I apologize. My microphone and
That's all
camera
good.
are going crazy.
No, God don't like. God don't like.
That's what it is. I'm talking shit about Shawn Michaels in such
a
Seth Rollins
derogatory manner.
Seth Rollins is not good. He's also like Shawn Michaels. He's a great in-ring performer.
Yes, he is like Shawn Michaels. He's one of the best. Yeah. He will go down in history as one of the best of all time.
He's terrible. He's terrible on the microphone. He's not a very interesting. He's not an interesting character, and he's only good like now when he has when he was part of the Authority. His entire singles run, babyface singles run, he was terrible. That's why every time they try to put him in a premium spot, it shows you how much lower level he is to like a Roman Reigns, right? Like he shows you
he is a step below Roman Reigns. That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. But Roman is different. You know what I mean?
He's we derailed. My top, besides who did I say? Chris Jericho. Christian is another favorite of mine. I'll watch a Christian match every time, especially when he used to come out in them jumpsuits in 2005 when he was with Tyson Tomko. They ruined him. He should have been world champion. Jeff Hardy. I'll watch a Jeff Hardy match till I die. And CM Punk, obviously. But my GOAT, Stacey, you're representing today. Randy Orton is the greatest of all time. He's the best. Let me tell you something. The only person outside of Stone Cold that can deliver as a face, as a heel at an elite level, there's nobody currently in WWE that can be the heights of babyface and the heights of heel than Randy Orton can. And he can do them perfectly. And as he's shown with RKO, he can do a little comedy. Even when he's serious, he can fit any mold. You have to be versatile. There's guys that can't do both. They can't do it because at some point, you can't be the top guy all the time. You're going to have to be relegated to some random thrown together tag team. And half the time, it's going to be a comical relief, just fill in some time. And you have to do that at an elite level. There's nothing that Randy Orton is not elite at. And you can't say that about everybody else. Sorry, you can't. Roman Reigns included, John Cena, you can't, Seth Rollins, whoever we're talking about tonight, there is nobody that can do all of it as well as Randy Orton.
It took Roman time to get to that point where he was elite at everything. Randy came into the game good at everything. He came in so good at everything, it was almost like not even annoying. It was just like he's not that good because he was so good at everything. Yeah. He's a natural. He naturally does everything really well. It's scary how good he was. And that's when I met him in I think it was 07, 08, and you see him and you're like, God, he's just, oh my God, you know what I mean? And it's like he could have screwed it up so bad for himself, and it's annoying because when he was young, you saw it, you knew he had it, he had it, he had everything, he had the look, he had the body, he could do anything in the ring, he could cut a promo, he could do anything, and he was gonna piss it away, kind of like Shawn did a little bit, you know what I mean? But that is not. I don't think if you ever had Randy Orton in any of your lists, you would ever be wrong.
Agreed.
I really don't think so.
Yeah, I had to laugh because my family are new wrestling fans, newer, and Dylan and I talk about this all the time. I hated him because I was supposed to. But I hated him to the point where when I had opportunities to meet him after shows, I didn't want to meet him.
Yeah.
I didn't want to.
How good he is.
I didn't want a picture because I hated him. So he's the #1 most beloved wrestler in my house. So to see my husband and my sons at any given time strike the pose for any given reason. I mean, at Christmas this year, I have pictures of them doing that, right? Yeah, and it took me so long to be able to get there because I hated him so much because, to your point, he's just that good.
Yeah.
That he evokes that extreme emotion of now he is so beloved that even when he's snarky and a little disrespectful, we love him for it.
I'm glad he's reached that point because I think there was a good stretch there the last, back half of last decade where I don't think he was getting the adulation from the crowd that he deserved. I don't think he was getting the proper respect from the hierarchy at WWE that he deserved. Maybe he did something to piss Vince off. I don't know, but I just felt like he wasn't being appreciated. And I'm glad now
being used right.
Right.
And he wasn't used right. But now I'm glad, because at some point there was definitely like a neck and neck thing with him and John Cena. And then obviously you saw John Cena pull away a lot.
Which is so disappointing.
It's very disappointing, but now it's very nice today to see Randy Orton getting everything that he deserves. I think especially when he hangs it up, he's going to just be one of those guys that you're like, now that I'm thinking about it, Randy Orton might be top 5 all time. Like when we're like, if we're taking away the popularity contest, right? When we're taking, when we're putting the entire package together, Randy Orton might be top 5 all time. Like that's just might be a conversation that, and it's a tough one, but like he's in that class picture somewhere because
he's not tough.
He can do it. He can do it all. He can do it all. So it's
when you have a top 5 of every category, he is in your top 5.
Yes,
100%.
Like wrestling, promo, the look, crossover, like everything that you could check off in the ring or outside of the ring, he's in your top 5, 10 or 5 easily.
Yeah.
So when you start putting the stats up together, it's like, yep, he is up there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And
I don't know. I don't know if that was true 5-10 years ago. I think people recognize that he was good or great, but I think now today people are like, oh shit, wait a minute. Like Randy Orton, like that's, and I think because he represents the last of like the Brock Lesnar, Batista, John Cena era, like that
the
era,
OLW,
ruthless aggression, whatever they call the ruthless aggression era.
Yeah.
He's kind of like, he's been doing it. This is like, he reminds me, it's on, like, it's funny because they were in Evolution together. Like this had to be fate, but Triple H was kind of the last of that Attitude Era, still going at a long time when guys like Kurt Angle, who was another one of my favorites, like a lot of these other guys,
very underrated.
Right.
He checks every box too.
He checks every box too. He's probably top 5 too, to be real. Like,
if
not top 3, if we're being honest about it. But when guys like Kurt Angle and Stone Cold, their bodies betrayed them, right? Like they just couldn't physically do it no more. And obviously The Rock went on to bigger and better things in Hollywood. Triple H kind of, and Undertaker aged out. Like Triple H kind of just represented that last. And Triple H, again, being married to the boss's daughter gives you some perks and privileges. But I also felt like there was a long period of time where Triple H wasn't getting the flowers I think he properly deserved for who he was carrying, because people gave him that. People slid him down because of the Stephanie Vince connection, which is unfair.
Which is unfair.
He put in the work.
He did a lot.
Yeah.
Because I will never forget. When I used to go to school in New Hampshire, and I went to his gym when he owned the gym. Him and China used to come in there a lot, and I would see him like, oh my God, he is bigger than I thought. And you just watched him. And then, so I had a respect for him then. So this is like 99, 2000, right? And I'll never forget when he tore his quad off the bone, most people would stop. He kept going. He didn't have to do it. He didn't have to keep that match going. He did it because he understands. He respects the business. And that's why I always said to people, like, you could say what you want to him marrying the boss's daughter. Nobody outworks that guy. Nobody outworked him.
Yeah.
He never let that be his crutch.
He never cheated. He never cheated the people. He never did.
Yeah.
In fact, he pushed harder. I think he pushed harder consistently, and that's why he was the last one, because he never wanted someone to look back and say, well, he only had that because of who he was connected to. Right. He wanted to be able to stand on his own.
Scott Steiner used to say. Scott used to say that, right? All the time.
Yes.
But you're right, Jeremy. Like, Randy is the last. If anybody, because you look at that OLW, right? You had Brock, you had Randy, you had Batista, you had John Cena, and then there might have been other guys too. You're right. Some of those guys, Brock, in and out. Batista is gone. Really, probably, I doubt he'll come back. John, he was a lifer, and then he left for Hollywood. Randy, consistent the whole time. He's been here, and And it's just amazing to watch. It really is. I'm just so glad, to your guys' point, like he's getting the flowers, because you don't want to wait until these guys are gone, not gone like long gone, but I mean like they leave and you're like, oh, how good he. I'm just glad that he gets into arena and the crowd goes crazy for him, because he deserves it.
I just wish that we would have gotten a better match between him and Cena in St. Louis.
But you know what? He did his best he could. It wasn't a bad match. It was better than that.
I mean, and it ain't over. Who's to say that Cena might not want one more?
Because he's fighting all of his heels now. That's why they flipped him. Because the first half of his tour was fighting all the good guys, and now the second half of his tour is fighting all the bad guys.
Yeah.
So
So who's to say? I mean, I get it was in St. Louis, so they wanted to give St. Louis the one last, and I'm sure that was a Cena Orton thing, but Cena got some months left, so we're not saying that it's over. So it might, we might.
John, I'm glad John's going out as a face, and because as much crap as he has gotten over his career, you can't wrestle and all that stuff. Nobody works as hard in and out of the ring as that guy.
I'm also glad that this heel turn, even though I don't think it went completely according to plan, I'm glad he was able to go out there and say the stuff that he really felt, because he felt that way.
Feel it. Yeah,
he hears the stuff, and there was like, even as a heel, he wasn't saying anything crazy. Like he wasn't it was all valid rebuttals to his criticism.
Absolutely.
And so it was fun for him to cut loose. Now he can get back to the shits, right? Like to what really got him. What really got him there. So that it's I can't wait to see the last of it. It's a fun ride. He is one of the greatest. He's probably on the Mount Rushmore, just kind of like Hulk Hogan style. He may not be the best technical guy, but he carried this company for years, for
absolutely
decades.
I remember when he tore that peck off the bone.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I was there, I worked there, and like we were like, we're missing our cash cow in Q4 during holiday season. And how are we going to make up for it? We had Ray, we had DX for a little bit and tried to make up the difference, but John accounted for about 30% of sales.
Yeah,
30%. That's a lot, right? Anything with John Cena on it was that's what it was. You could put, we used to say, you could put a pile of dog shit and put John Cena's logo on it, and it'll sell out the building, right? So when he came back, he wasn't supposed to come. He got hurt. I think it was like August time frame. He wasn't supposed to come back until the following WrestleMania. When he came back at that Royal Rumble, that's when I said, you know what, this guy, there's nothing like this guy. Nothing. Like
his giving and teaching wrestlers, like his pouring into others, that wrestling is not just about what they do in front of the screen, it's who you are behind the screen. And we've talked a lot tonight about all the things that were bad behind the screen, but there is no other that has taught more of the wrestlers about their philanthropic need to give back, and really what you do with your time outside of the ring matters. And he has really consistently shown that, and has really taught so many others that it's not just about what you do, but it's you're giving to them, but they're giving to you. So it's a beautiful experience. And that has been such a joy to see, especially in the last couple of months, so many of the youngs doing the same thing and going out in groups and really making a difference. And that's because of him. That's probably going to go down as one of his biggest legacies.
Yeah. Because I know his schedule. Like when you watch the episode with him on WWE Unreal, and you see him signing the autographs with that's one of my buddies, Joe Hickey, right? Joe Hickey is guy that designs shirts for WWE. He's been there over 20 years, right? Good buddy of mine. I talked to him not too long ago. John always signs cards every time. And when Hunter had his DVD out, you had to physically hold him down to get him to sign cards. He held up orders because he wouldn't sign these cards, right? Because he was doing other stuff. John doesn't care. Sign the cards. He'll carve out the time. Then goes to do a Make-A-Wish, gets ready for a match, tears the house down, onto the next night. That's John. His work ethic is by far, that's why he is where he is today. And he absolutely deserves it. So I just want to say that.
Agreed.
Barry, Stacy, This was fun. We're about to hit 2 hours, and we should do this again. This was awesome.
Absolutely.
This
I can't
was,
wait. I can't wait.
Please follow them. Let me find this little thing up here. It's
follow us at the Executives View. We got shows on Tuesdays, talking all sports with Sirius, LG Larry, Coach Steve, who thinks kayfabe is dead, and Uncle Chandler. Hopefully Uncle Chandler can get in. And then on Wednesdays, we do every other Wednesday, we have our WWE show with the Queen herself, Miss Stacy, Sirius. Coach stops by. We have AB, and we usually have some guests. Corey is now a new full-timer. So we got a lot of people that come in and just have a passion for what we talk about. And just, we all talk. We all text each other. Let's do it on a pod. We do it together. And we have a lot of fun. So I'm really happy that we were able to come on your show. We love your stuff. We follow you. For our people, follow stuff about sports. They're great. They have a lot of good content. And I can't wait to jump on again with you.
Absolutely.
Please follow Barry and Stacy at the Executives View. You see the 2 underscores there. Follow us at Give Us a Shot Network. Please visit the new website, www.giveusashot.network. Until then, take care of each other, and whatever you do, don't be like Shawn Michaels.